modeling something like this seems difficult to you, you can use this simple pipeline that will simplify the modeling process tenfold. Then after that, I'm gonna show you how I made these coins. Stay tuned and you're gonna be able to apply these techniques to any of your characters and props. So get ready, here we go. Hello everybody, my name is Ellie and I'm a professional 3D character artist, and here's a quick rundown of what you're gonna learn from this video. I'm going to show you the process of how I made this mask for my latest character, as well as these coins and trinkets. I'm going to explain that in 3 simple steps that you can apply to your modeling. I've had some trouble figuring out how to model these, so I thought I would share how I made it so that you don't have to struggle. For this one I'm gonna be using Blender and Zbrush. By the way, the beginner tutorial of both these masks and these coins is gonna drop in about 2 weeks. You can ask anything you want clarification on, and I'll explain as best I can in the comments, or include your question in those tutorials. Before modeling, you have to have a good reference to follow. Both modeling and concept art are hard as is, so you don't have to do both of them at the same time. So pick a concept, something clear, distinct, something that shows many angles, and something you will enjoy working on. What I did is I chose this Diablo 4 concept, but I would recommend that you choose something more clear. Because you see, there is no turnarounds for the mask, there is no display of what's happening under the belts, so on this one I had to improvise. You should avoid doing that. Or don't. Who am I to tell you what to do? You're a big boy, you're gonna figure it out. But if you're a beginner, something like this, would be better. And before we start, since this mask looks like a skull, I first sculpted a basic shape of it, just roughly, so that the mask has something to sit on. But if you're doing a similar mask, you can sculpt on the head or on the shoulder or any other surface you like. So by the end of step 0, you will have a clear reference which will give you direction and a base to work on, which will serve as your canvas on which you model. So moving on to step 1. Then to start working, we have to create something to work with. For that I go Shift A and add a plane. Then I'm gonna press Tab to go into edit mode, select everything with A, and move the plane to the side of this dot right here. Then I activate a symmetry modifier so that everything that I do on the left is on the right. Simple as that. I then go up here and activate snapping, particularly snapping to face. That makes it so that whenever I move a vertex, it snaps onto the nearest surface that is available to it. But you see, there's a problem here, and the problem is that we can't really see much of this polygon. So to fix that, we go here, we activate in front, adjust the color if you need it, and just like that, we can start working. Okay, to follow the basics, if you press 1, you can choose vertices. If you press 2, you can choose edges. If you press 3, you can choose polygons. Easy peasy, moving on. If you select a vertex or an edge, or if you select anything, you can press E to extrude it. See how it's easy? E for extrude. And everything you extrude is gonna also snap on the surface. And that's basically how you want to go about it. You extrude slowly and try to match the shape you see. You can keep the shape choppy for now. We're gonna fix that later. Keeping it low poly is gonna allow you for a greater control and will overall be easier to work with. By the end of step 1, you will have a flat approximate version of your design. Don't overcomplicate it, keep it low poly, and make sure you don't have any angons. But you see, at this point, whatever I model looks very flat. For a fact, it's not that flat on the concept. So, to see better what the end result is gonna look like, I'm gonna add a solidify modifier. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna imitate thickness, basically. Nothing will be there, no geometry, nothing additional, but it's gonna look like it's got thickness. I changed the thickness to my desired outcome. Next, I'm adding a bevel modifier, which does what it says, it bevels the edges. I adjust the settings so that only the desired edges are beveled. Next, I'm gonna add a subdivision surface, but since it smoothes everything out, that goes for our edges as well. And if those edges have a slight bevel to it, it's gonna look like the model still has a sharp edge. So we did that basically just so that we can see the model more properly. Later, we're gonna delete that bevel and that subdivision and work on the model more properly. Whoa there, cowboy, hold your horses. That right there gets a little bit too yappy for my taste. So how about we take a little break and take a look at the memes I found funny this week, right? 3D memes, right? Blender is free, people, when they get their electricity bill. Yeah, it does get pretty high, doesn't it, huh? A Japanese engineer creates a night lamp that leads you to the toilet in the middle of the night. That thing reminds me of a head crab, and I don't think I like it. Would you buy this lamp? I don't think I would, but who cares? Moving on. looks a bit different from the tutorial. Well, let's see how it goes. Whoa! I don't think that is what was supposed to happen, but you know, let's watch it again. Alright, thank you for tuning in for the meme segment. Now moving on with the tutorial. But for now, again, just for the visual purpose, we're gonna keep it. Just like that, I continue modeling. Some of the parts I can select and duplicate, then scale them and use in a different place. Here, I delete a polygon and model this little squiggle that goes inside of the mask. I continue modeling using the exact same techniques I told you about before. Again, if you have literally any questions on how I got here, just let me know. And moving on to the side part of the mask. I'm first making sort of a frame here, then I'm just filling it in with the design I like. I'm using some reference from God of War. You know, I'm not taking anything concrete, I'm just studying the way these ornaments are built so that I can replicate it. And after some struggle, here's what we got. So to recap, by the end of step 2, you will have a flat base, upon which you start stacking your modifiers. And you need those modifiers for 1. Seeing how your design looks in 3D, and 2. To later use them to finalize the model. After I'm done with the modeling, it's time to finalize the object. I've applied all the modifiers, starting with solidify. I then crease the edges that I know are gonna be sharp. While I'm working, I have a subdivision modifier active. And once I'm done creasing the edges, I manually bevel them. And because we creased the original edge, both of the edges created by the bevel are automatically sharp. That means they are not gonna be smoothed by subdivision. And just like that, the ornamental part of the mask is ready. By the way, if you want to move a big part of your model, but you don't want to move everything one vertex at a time, so you activate proportional editing right here, you press G to move, and you use your scroll wheel to increase the radius of the movement. Using the exact same techniques, I've modeled the nose. I imported to Zbrush, use Move Brush to change the proportions, and then use brushes like Clay Buildup to build form, and Dem Standard to create the sharp edges where I want. Using the same Clay Buildup, I carved out the sockets for the teeth. Using Move Brush, I sculpted the teeth, and there goes the upper jaw. I did the same for the lower jaw, so I built the form, add the edges with Dem Standard, and at the end of this step, we've got this beauty. Like before, you need to have a base, but in this case, make it flat. Don't forget to bevel your sharp edges. This way, they will reflect more light, which looks better on the final model. After the base is done, I subdivide it and start drawing the ornament with a mask brush. Once I'm satisfied, I extract the result, I isolate the top poly group, I delete what's hidden, then I Z-remesh. After that, I'm using a Z-modeler brush, I Q-mesh, which is basically extrude on all polygons, I flip the normals, I bevel the edges, and just like that, the first layer is done. I then go back to the original flat mesh, I draw another set of ornaments, I repeat all the steps. Oh, and also don't forget to add damages with brushes like Flatten or Trim Dynamic, as well as Slash. And that's basically how I did all the coins and trinkets. So, to summarize, you need to carefully choose your reference, you start your model very simple, and you don't need to overcomplicate it. You add modifiers like Solidify, Bevel, and Subdivision Surface to make your flat model look like it's got a lot of polygons. You then apply the necessary modifiers, sculpt the organic parts if necessary, and you've got your design. Hope everything was clear, and if you liked it, please like and subscribe. So yeah, bye!